Hey guys, welcome to OnFireRobloxScripting, and this is the second part of how to make a simple working shop inside of Roblox Studio. So let's just get right into it. So last time in part 1, we made a way to open the shop. There was 3 different ways that were taught inside that part. So you either have a button that opens a shop, a proximity prompt, or a touchpad. Doesn't really matter what you have, as long as you have a way to open the shop. And we also coded this exit button right here so that you can close the shop. So what we're going to do today is we're going to add in our first item for the shop, and we're going to make it buyable. So the first thing we want to do is we need to know how we're going to set up our shop. There's a few ways that we could do that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a design where all the buttons and stuff are on the left, and then the information is going to be on the right. So what I'm going to do is go under the shop frame. I'm going to click the plus and enter in a folder. And I'm going to rename this folder to information because this is the folder that's going to store all of our information frames. After that, under the information folder, I'm going to click the plus and enter in a frame. So now we can take this frame and we can basically drag it to however big we want it to be. If you find that you can't click on your frame to resize the frame, what you can do is click on your new inserted frame and scroll down until you find the Z index property and change it to something a little higher, 5. And now you'll be able to just click and drag your frame while it's on the frame. So what you want to do with this frame is just size it to a size that you like. So I'm gonna make it like that. Remember that we always want to scale our UI so that it fits on all devices. Once again, that plugin will be down in the description below. After that, we can customize our frame. So I'm gonna go to the background color. I'm gonna make it a little light gray like that. And then that's probably all I'll do. And then now what we need is we need a few pieces of information. So under the frame, we're gonna click the plus and add in a text label. Once again, if you can't click on the text label, you can just change the Z index to something that's higher than the frame, so 6. And then we'll put that in the middle. Other than the text label, we're also going to need an image label. And once again, you can do that Z index thing if you can't select it. So I'm going to change this one also to 6. And then I'm going to put it there. And then lastly, we're going to need a button. So a text button, and then I'm going to do that Z index thing one more time. I'm also going to set it to 6. The button is going to go probably just down here. It is up to you how you want to order these. For example, if you really want to, you could also have the image at the top with the name. And then if you really want, you could actually have 2 different labels. So one for the name, the other one for price, and then the button. I actually like this design a little better, so I'll probably keep this one. So it's going to be picture, the name, the price, and then the buy button. So what I'm going to be doing for today's tutorial is I'm going to make a tool shop, but it could be anything you want. It could be a fruit shop, it could be a pet shop, as long as you know how to give the items to the player. So I'm going to create our tool right now really quickly. So I'm just going to hide the UI by going under the view tab, click on UI visibility. This just hides the UI. If I want to bring the UI back, I can just click the UI visibility button again and everything's back. So I'm just going to hide it for now. And then let's grab a tool from the toolbox. Let's grab a model sword. We can just take the first one. Okay, and no. So this is our sword tool over here. So basically what you want to do is you want to take your item that you're going to give to the player that they're going to buy from the shop, and then you're going to put it under the replicated storage. If you want to keep it neat and organized, we can actually make a folder for these. So I'm going to make a folder. I'm just going to call it tools. I'm going to put in the classic sword under our folder tools. So now that I have our tool, I can come back over here, bring my UI back. So under this text label, this is going to be the title of the thing. So I'm going to rename that to title. This text label is going to be cost, so I'm going to rename that to cost. This text button is going to be the buy button, so I'm going to rename that to buy. And then image label, we can just leave it as image label. So the title of our sword, I'm probably just going to make it classic sword, just like that. If you want, we could do stuff like make it text scaled, and maybe even make the background transparency 1, and we can make something like the text color completely white, just like that. For cost, let's say the sword costs $500, then I can just go into the text. I can write $500, just like that, to let the players know it's going to cost $500. I can I can make like the background transparency to 1, and maybe this time I will change the text color to a nice little yellow, because you know yellow represents money. And then under buy, we can do something like change the text to buy item. Once again, text scaled. Maybe you want to keep the background this time, but like I'm gonna change it to something like yellow. Yeah, but like you can design it how you want. The last part is we're going to need a photo for our sword. So to insert an image onto Roblox, you first need to create like a PNG or a JPEG. And once you have that, you want to go under your image label and then scroll down until you find where it says image. And over here, you can either enter in a URL. You can maybe search for files that you've already have on Roblox, or you can just click add image and then choose file, and it will bring you up to your desktop where you can find any images that you have on your desktop, and then you can just create them and add them into Roblox. So I have this image of the classic sword, so I'm just going to put that into there, and then I can do something like change the background transparency to 1, and there you go. So now we have an image of the sword, a title for the sword, the cost, and we have a button that says buy item. Now do remember that as we're building our UI, that we always remember to scale our UI so that it fits on all devices. So, you know, just make sure that you do that if you haven't. So now that we have our like information frame here, we're going to need a corresponding button to buy like this item, or to like open up this information frame. So what we can do is go back into the shop frame, click the plus, let's enter in another folder. But this time, this folder is going to be for the buttons. So I'm just going to name it buttons. And under buttons, let's click the plus and enter in another frame. So this frame is going to hold in our buttons. And once again, if you can't like click on it, just change like the Z index to something that's higher than the shop. So I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to like increase the size of it. So this is the frame. And then we're going to make something similar to the frame that we just made, but this time it's only going to have image, and then it's going to have like a little label. So what we can do is first name our frame to our item. So in this case, this is going to be our classic sword, like that. And under the frame, I'm going to click the plus. I'm going to enter in an image button. So an image button, same thing as a text button, but you can click on the image. I'm going to change the Z index again, so I can like click on it. And then like I can just kind of like put it there. And then I'm going to add in another object, and this time it's going to be a text label. In the text label, I can just resize it. I could like even make it the same size as the image. So let's put the image over there, and then the text label over there. Let's keep them like nice and even, just like that. And then we're gonna do the same thing. So maybe like the background for the whole frame, we can change the background color to something like a light orange. Doesn't really matter. You can design it how you want. For the image, we're going to do the exact same thing. So I'm actually going to just copy the image I have from our information frame. Oh yeah, by the way, for the information frame, if you want, you can rename that frame to like classic sword info. This is so that we can reference it later. I'm going to go into our image label. I'm going to just copy that URL that I have. I'm going to paste it into our new button. and then make the background transparency to 1. And then for the text label, I'm going to just write in some text. So the text is going to be classic sword. Let's make the text scaled, and then I'm going to make the background transparent, and then I'll probably also just make it bold. So it's not the prettiest, but for your buttons, you can kind of like design it how you want, but it does need to be a button so that we can open up this frame over here. And do remember to, once again, scale everything that you have so that it fits on all devices. So now that we have that, we don't actually need to worry about like clicking on the button to open up the frame because we only have one item. I will be showing how to add more items in part 3, but for now, we don't need to worry about that. So the last thing we're going to be doing is make the item buyable so that like when they press buy item, it will allow them to buy the item. So to do that, we actually first need something called leaderstats. So what leaderstats is Roblox's built-in system that tracks like different stats for players. So you might have seen them on like the top right of Roblox games. This just tracks stats for every player inside the server. So we're going to quickly create one. Now do note that the one I'm creating is not going to have Datastore, but if you do want one with Datastore, there's a video on the top right of the screen right now, or I will have it at the end screen or the second link in the description and pinned comment. To make a leader stats, let's go into the serverscript service. I'm going to click the plus and enter in a script. Let's rename this script to leaderstats. Okay, so you can write what I write. It's very simple. So game.players.playerAdded connect function, put in brackets and write in player, and then go down the line and then write local leader stats equals to instance.new, and then inside the brackets put in quotation marks and then write folder, and then put a comma and then write player. After that, go down the line and write leaderstats.name equals to, and this is a very important part, we want to put in quotation marks and then leader stats, just like the code AI has done here, but we're going to do quotation marks and then it's going to be leader stats. We want to make sure that leader stats is spelled exactly like this, or Roblox will not recognize it as leader stats. So after that, we can now create values inside our leader stats. For us, it's going to be some kind of currency. So if we're using dollars, it could be like cash, it could be coins, it could be money. So I'm just going to use like cash, but it doesn't really matter. So local cash equals to instance.new, and inside the brackets, put in quotation marks, and this time is going to be an int value, and then comma, leader stats. So what this just means is we're going to create a new int value and we're going to put it under the leader stats, and then cash.name equals to, and then this is going to be like the name of your int value. So I'm just going to put cash with capital C. Then finally, if you want, you can give like it some starting value. So like cash.value equals to 100. Whatever this number is what the player will start off with this value. So if we test it out real quickly, you can see that on the top right of the screen, we now have a simple leader stats called cash, and we have 100 of the thing. So now that we have our leader stats established, we can now work on like how to buy items. So what we're gonna do is actually create another remote event. So we have one called open shop. We're just gonna create another one. So add in another remote event under the replicated storage, and this time this remote event is going to be called buy. After that, we can go into shop frame, and under the information, under the buy button, we're going to click the plus and enter in a local script. So this local script is going to be the buy item. So we can rename that to buy item. And then you can now write what I write. So first we're going to start with some variables. So we need to get that remote event. So that's going to be local buy RE equals to game.replicated storage, wait for child, put in quotation marks, and then we named our remote event to buy. So under our quotation marks, we're just going to put in buy. After that, we need to get our button. So local buy button equals to script.parent. After that, we need to go down 2 lines, and then we're going to write buy button dot mouse button one click colon connect function, put in brackets, and then go down a line, and then write buy re colon fire server. And then inside the fire server, we can put in quotation marks. And then this is going to be pretty important because now we need to pass information to the server on what we're buying. So in this case, this is going to be a classic sword. So we're going to pass on the string classic sword so the server knows what we're trying to buy. So that is the local part of the script. So now we need to go onto the server to finish it. So we're going to go onto the server over here, and we're going to click the plus, enter in a script, and then you can write what I write. So we can actually copy in that first 2 lines over here, just like that, because we're using the same remote event. And then what we can do is create the purchase script. So buy re dot on server event colon connect function, put in brackets, and then we're going to write player comma item. After that, we can go down a line, and then we can write if item equals to, and then put in quotation marks, and then whatever's in this quotation marks has to be the string that we sent to the server earlier. So we can go back to our local script, and then we're just going to copy the exact same words. So classic sword, and then classic sword. So basically this just checks if the item the player is trying to purchase is the classic sword. So if it is, then so this is now where we check if the player has enough money to purchase the sword. So we set it as $500. So we just got to make sure that the player has over or equivalent to $500. So if player dot leaderstats dot cash dot value is over or equivalent to 500, then we're just gonna leave that blank for now, and then we're going to write else, and then we're gonna leave that blank too. So basically what we've done is when they try to purchase something, we're going to send that information to the server, and then we're going to check if they have enough cash in the first place. So first, let's check if they have enough cash. So if they do, so remember that cash is from our leader stats value over here, that's cash. So if their cash amount is over or equivalent to 500, so they have enough cash, then player.leaderstats.cash.value, we're going to subtract 500. So that's the first thing. We need to subtract 500. And then we need to give them like the tool, right? So we can create another variable under variables. So local classic sword equals to game.replicate storage dot items or tools dot tools colon wait for child, and inside the brackets put in quotation marks, and then we're gonna put in the classic sword. So this just makes sure that we know where the tool that we put earlier is. So that is right here. And then so after we subtract $500, local new item equals to classic sword colon clone, and then new item dot parent equals to player dot backpack, just like that. So what we've done here is we're going to check if the player has $500 or more. If they do, we're going to take away those 500 on the server, and then we're going to create a new tool for them, and then we're going to just slot it into their backpack. Else means like in any other scenario, which is a scenario where they don't have $500. For now, we can just like print a message to ourselves, not enough cash. But what we can do in like later parts of the series is like give an error message to the player where we tell them that they don't have enough cash. But for now, let's go test it out. So here I am inside the game, and if I try to press buy item, nothing happens because I have not enough cash. You can see because we don't have enough cash, it's going to print out not enough cash. So if I keep on doing this, it'll keep on telling me that I don't have enough cash. Now, when testing, you want to make sure that you keep everything consistent. One thing I see a lot of people do is like they give themselves cash on the client. This doesn't actually do anything because like that's only on your screen, but under the server, you still don't have enough cache. So if you're going to change values, make sure that you actually go onto the server first. And then you can find like your player on the player list, cache, and then I can change this to something like 600. And if I go back to the client, I now have $600. And then now if I try to buy the item, just like that, you can see that I lose the $500 and I now have a sword inside my inventory. That was kind of loud. Yeah, so like I can use a sword now, just like that. So yeah, that is it for part 2 of how to make a simple working shop. In the next part, I will be showing you guys how to add more items, and then I'll probably make a part 4 that's like all the like minor details, like adding maximum limits, maybe how to make like this GUI a little more smoother, like maybe it flies in instead of just popping up. But yeah, that'll be it for this part of the tutorial. If you liked it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!